At the end of the hallway, past the nurse's station, a woman stood barefoot. Her hospital gown was stained with something dark and wet, her hair tangled, clinging to her face like strands of seaweed. Hello, and welcome to Fearfull Wickedness. I am your host, the storyteller. We hope you enjoy tonight's tale. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I've worked the night shift at the hospital for 3 years. It's an old building, brick walls, faded linoleum, and hallways that groan like they carry memories. Most nights are quiet. Most nights are normal. But then there are other nights, like you can feel the building itself holding its breath. It started on a Tuesday. I was finishing my rounds in Ward C when I saw him. A man in a hospital gown, wandering aimlessly near room 14. At first, I thought he was a patient, lost or confused. But his movements were odd. His feet didn't touch the floor naturally. He drifted, almost gliding, and when I called out, his head slowly turned toward me, and then he vanished. I blinked, shook my head. Maybe I was too tired. The next night, I saw him again. Same hallway, same hospital gown, same drifting motion. This time I followed him, keeping my distance around each corner, hoping to catch him, but nothing. The hallway stretched out empty, my pulse thumping in my ears. Then came the whispers, soft, almost indistinguishable at first. Go back, don't look, don't follow. I froze, every nerve in my body screaming. I knew no one else was around. The security cameras didn't show him either. I started digging into the old patient records, thinking maybe someone had done something tragic in Ward C, something that could explain this. That's when I found him. Harold Greaves, admitted in 1976, died in Ward C after a sudden heart attack. The notes described him wandering the hall, disoriented, searching for someone he never found. I told myself it was just fatigue. Old hospitals make strange noises. Shadows can trick your mind. But then the janitor handed me a VHS tape he'd found in the basement, dusty and forgotten. Found this in the archives, he said, his hands shaking slightly. I watched. My blood ran cold. There he was, wandering the hallway in the same hospital gown, same aimless pace, and the timestamp read March 12th, 1982, years after he had died. After that, I requested a transfer. I don't work nights in Ward C anymore. But sometimes, when I walk past the hospital, I swear I see him through a window, standing silently in the hall, waiting. And I wonder, how many nights am I still late to my own shift, walking these same empty corridors, unseen, just like him? Some nights, I hear faint whispers over the phone from a friend still working there. He's back again, they say, and I know I'll never forget the sound of footsteps drifting past me in a hallway where no one else walks. Because the hospital remembers. And Harold, he never left. Hospitals always unsettled me. The hum of fluorescent lights, the smell of antiseptic that could never mask the undertone of sickness. But tonight, I was here for my sister. She had been in a car accident, nothing fatal, but bad enough to keep her overnight. When I stepped into her room, she was asleep. I sat down, relieved. For the first time that day, I felt the tension leave my shoulders. I had been there around 20 minutes when I heard a noise. I walked out of her room, then I noticed the figure. At the end of the hallway, past the nurse's station, a woman stood barefoot. Her hospital gown was stained with something dark and wet, her hair tangled, clinging to her face like strands of seaweed. She didn't move. She didn't blink. She just stared. I turned to the nurse walking by. But when I looked back, the hallway was empty. She smiled politely and kept moving. I tried to shake it off. Lack of sleep, stress, the hospital's oppressive atmosphere. But when I stepped back into my sister's room, that was when the air shifted. The warmth bled from the room as if someone had opened a freezer door. I could see my own breath clouding in the dim light. And then, chillingly, my sister's as well. She stirred in her sleep, shivering. The fluorescent lights flickered, buzzing angrily before steadying again. The heart monitor at her side gave a sudden, sharp spike, though she hadn't moved. I called my sister's name, reaching for her hand, but froze when the plastic chair in the corner scraped slowly across the floor by itself. The IV bag swayed on its stand, though no one had touched it. The cold deepened. Papers fell from the counter, swirling in a circle before dropping flat. The curtain by the door rippled as though someone had slipped silently inside. But there was no one there. Just me, my sister, and the suffocating certainty that we weren't alone. I pressed the nurse's call button, but when the nurse came to check, the room had returned to normal. I asked her if they ever had complaints of strange things happening on that hospital floor. That's when she told me the story of the drowning girl. According to the nurse, 12 years ago, a woman who had been in a boating accident was brought in and had been stabilized. She was put in the room at the end of the hall. During the night, she passed away, and now her spirit roams the halls. When I woke from surgery, the first thing I noticed wasn't the pain in my knee, it was the silence. The recovery room was dim, lit only by the weak glow of a monitor beside me. My leg was heavy, wrapped in bandages, my head clouded from anesthesia. I expected to hear nurses moving about, voices in the hallway, the clatter of carts. Instead, there was nothing, just the steady beep of my heart. I tried to sit up, but the room swam. That's when I noticed the curtain across from me swaying gently, though there was no draft. I pressed the call button. No one came. Then I saw her. A pale woman in a hospital gown, skin gray, drifted past the doorway. Her eyes were closed, lips slightly parted as if whispering something I couldn't hear. She didn't walk. She slid, feet never touching the floor. I told myself it was the anesthesia, my mind tricking me. But the air grew colder, prickling my skin. The monitor beside me crackled. For a moment, the steady beeping sped into a frantic staccato, though I hadn't moved. The screen flickered, letters and numbers scrambling. I mashed the call button again, harder this time. Still no answer. The curtain at my bedside shifted. I froze. Someone was on the other side. I could hear it, breathing, low and rattling, like lungs filled with water. The fabric bulged inward, as though a hand pressed against it. My own hand shook as I reached for the curtain. Before I could touch it, it snapped open on its own. No one was there. The bed across from mine was empty, sheets neatly tucked. But the pillow bore the indentation of a head, as though someone invisible still lay there, watching me. The overhead lights flickered once, then died, plunging the room into darkness. I could only hear the hiss of the oxygen line, the beeping of the monitor, and that wet, rattling breath growing closer. I closed my eyes, praying to pass out again, but the cold fingers that brushed my hand were all too real. When the lights blinked back on, the sheets on the bed across from me were messed up, as if someone had been laying in it, and the imprint on the pillow was gone.